Just take a look at this, the design is absolutely gorgeous. I got my hands on it and had to do a review for you guys right away. In terms of appearance, this handheld console is truly perfect. It's like a work of art. I'm not just exaggerating. Seriously, once you get your hands on this vertical handheld, I'm particularly fond of the vertical design. This vertical handheld console is simply flawless compared to previous vertical handhelds like the 4005. This pristine screen is quite attractive. On the rear, there's a gridded air intake vent, with an exhaust vent at the top for active cooling. The side slot accommodates a TF card. This model features a 3D large throw joystick, identical to the previous 406V. The conductive rubber is also consistent with the prior model, but even though these triggers use the same conductive material, I think they feel better than the last version. The buttons are really soft to the press, which I find very comfortable. With its Dimensity 8300 chip, this handheld effortlessly runs any emulator. And this time, they've upgraded the backlight. Just take a look at this effect. This is truly impressive. Its backlight in this particular area brightens up, and the lighting effect is truly stunning and visually appealing. This screen is just beautiful. Now let me test if there's any screen flicker. Let's swipe down, shall we? There's no screen flicker at all. This screen is fantastic, a 4:3 aspect ratio, and I think the 4.7-inch size is just perfect. If you're considering this for playing nostalgic games, it's already a screen many of us have been eagerly pursuing, because this 4:3 aspect ratio allows you to play all sorts of retro games, achieving a perfect pixel-to-pixel display, you know. For instance, PS1, PS2, and even Dreamcast and so on. Even Game Boy games can achieve a pixel-perfect display. I just got this today, so I'll quickly put it through its paces for you all to see how this mainstream emulator performs in terms of gaming performance. Let's kick things off with the PS2. I'll put God of War to the test on this PS2 emulator, and we'll see if it truly lives up to all the official marketing claims. Currently, God of War runs at 59.95 frames, which is practically a solid 60 frames per second at max frame rate. Alright, next up, I'm going to show you my backend data. If you click on this section, you'll see that I'm currently running it at 3 times the native resolution. Now, if I were to switch to 4 times, let's just see what the frame rate would be. You see how at 4 times it sometimes dips into the red? Did you catch that? It's not staying locked at 60 frames anymore. I'd say this handheld can run at a max frame rate at 3x resolution with no problem. If you go for 4x, you might get an occasional frame rate drop, which isn't a huge deal, but I think 3x is where it's perfectly stable. And for PSP, let's also check out God of War. It's also at a max frame rate of 60 frames per second. Alright, so I'm going to check and see if the frame rate drops during these combat scenes, right? Currently I'm running with an 8x resolution scaling. Now if I were to bump that up to 10x, okay, at 10x resolution, the frame rate does tend to drop slightly. For instance, from 60 frames, it might go down to 59, and sometimes even as low as 57 frames per second, though it generally stays quite close to 60. So you can basically play at 10x resolution. For the Wii and NGC emulator, playing Zelda, Twilight Princess, the frame rate hovers around 30 frames per second, 31, 32, around 30, which is close to a max frame rate. I'll just quickly show you my backend parameters. These quick settings are set to 3x. At this 3x setting, it still runs very smoothly at maximum frame rate. That's the status for WII and NGC. Next up, let's take a look at the 3DS. I'll just pick a random game on it, so we can check out how it performs. Currently, I'm running it at 3 times resolution, and it looks incredibly smooth, with absolutely no stuttering whatsoever. Now then, I'm going to select 4x resolution and have a look. I'll open up the resolution settings and choose 4x, okay? At 4x resolution, playing less demanding games like this should basically pose no problem whatsoever. For slightly more demanding games, 2x resolution on this 3DS should be perfectly fine. Alright, so now I'm going to demonstrate Ninja Gaiden 3 running on the Wii U emulator. Just take a look at how well it's performing, folks. It's incredibly fluid. We'll dive into a combat sequence next to see how it holds up there. Not too shabby at all, wouldn't you say, everyone? Not bad at all. This performance is pretty good. The back has an anti-slip texture, and the button layout is the same as the previous 406V. The air intake has a square design here, with the air outlet on top. The overall look is just really nice. To sum up, if you like this vertical handheld design, you must consider the 47TV, okay? This handheld will truly astound you, featuring a stunning integrated glass panel. Its only drawback is a tendency to attract fingerprints. Later on, I'll show you how Android mobile games perform on this handheld console, so stay tuned for that.